Hello to all of you FGO enjoyers. Today we will be having a look at my top 5 best single target 5-star sabers. Keep in mind that this is just my opinion, and the order of these 5 doesn't really matter as they're all amazing. Before we start, here are some honorable mentions. First one being Saber Astolfo. He is such a good saber in my opinion. I just hate his third skill, and despite his first skill, I still find his NP gain lackluster. Secondly, we have the Trung sisters. The reason I couldn't place them is because I haven't tried them much, but they seem like a solid saber nonetheless. Anyways, let's start. Coming at number 5, it's Musashi. I can already hear everyone typing their angry comments. Musashi is an amazing saber. She has one of the highest attacks, and having a gorilla deck means her damage is quite consistent. Her first skill doubles her hits. I think the only point of that skill is to use when you have an arts card, as getting an arts crit when his buff is active is basically a free NP. I think the cooldown is too high though. Second skill is a mana burst with ignore invincibility. One of the better mana bursts. Very solid skill. Third skill is an invincibility with a cleanse and extra star generation. A very good defensive skill. Her NP, which got buffed, is a buster nuke that grants a big NP damage buff, then deals bonus damage to alter egos and moon cancers. It also removes the enemy's buffs. Overall a very good saber. My only problem with her is that the downtime is just too long and her NP gain is not that great without the first skill. Coming up at number 4, we have Okita-san herself. Okita is an amazing quick saber. Some people will say that Astolfo is better, but I just prefer using her. She has some of the best gains in the game, and can easily get her NP or generate stars. Her first skill is a quick mana burst that increases damage by 20% for 1 turn before each normal attack. Still a weird skill. Second skill is a battery with star absorb and a crit buff for 1 turn. Wish it was 3 turns, but I think she'll be broken. Third skill is a mind's eye fake, which is a solid defensive option along a decent crit buff for 3 turns. Her NP is a quick nuke that ignores defense and lowers defense of the enemy. A very solid NP to this day. There are 3 things holding her back. It is the fact that her skill set is still a bit outdated. Plus that quick isn't the best card type nowadays. And finally, because you still haven't liked and subscribed to catch my latest videos and help out the channel. Coming at number 3, and this might be a bit of a surprise, it's Benienma. While not a DPS powerhouse like Okita and Musashi, she instead provides very good utility, and can still deal massive damage against chaotic and evil enemies. Her first skill is a mind's eye fake, a solid defense option with a crit buff. Second skill, applies defense down, critical chance down, and NP seals all enemies but heals them for 1k. The heal can be ignored as 1k wouldn't make a difference at all. This skill just casually applies 3 amazing debuffs to all enemies. A great skill. Third skill, gives a charisma, NP gauge and buff removal resistance to all allies. It also heals both allies and enemies by 1k. This skill just gives 2 solid buffs and NP gauge to all allies. Again, another very good skill. Especially the buff removal resistance, as it can be really helpful in some challenge quests. Amazing passives. She is literally immune to skill seal, which is amazing since, if you didn't know, when you are skill sealed, the skill's cooldown won't change. Hence why skill seal is one of the worst debuffs in the game. Her NP, which gives her a damage mod against chaotic and evil enemies. It deals solid damage. Nothing much can be said though. Benienma is the full package, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about her enough. Coming at number 2, we have Nero Bride. You might call me crazy, but this servant can just do so much. She can be a support for farming, a support for boss fights, or the main DPS. Her first skill, which got buffed, is targetable massive NP gain buff along with her NP battery. Cooldown could be shorter, not gonna lie. Second skill is a targetable solid attack and star gen buff on a good uptime, which it was a crit buff instead of a star gen 1. Third skill, which also got buffed, it is now a heal with a solid defense up, and a damage mode against sky enemies. Her NP, which also got buffed, is an arts nuke that applies burn, defense and crit down for 5 turns. 5 turns is amazing, and her NP gain is good enough for her to spam the NP, so these debuffs can easily stack. Having 3 targetable buffs makes this servant one of the most flexible in the game. and I think she is still amazing to this day. And finally, coming up at number 1, it is none other than Sigurd. This guy is amazing. Coming up at number 1, to no one's surprise, it's the Dioscuri. Where do I even start? Costa and Pollux are just amazing. They have very good stats, but their skills and NP is where it's at. First skill is just a chef's kiss. It gives up to 10% NP gauge whenever they use a quick card and up to 10 stars whenever they use an arts card. Keep in mind that their NP counts as well, so getting an arts brave chain guarantees a 30-star bomb. An amazing skill. Second skill is a better version of Voyager of the Storm, in which they give the party debuff immunity one time for 3 turns. Third skill, which is their version of Mana Burst. It applies evade for 1 turn. It also applies arts and quick up for 3 turns. A bit awkward with the evade, but still a very solid skill and fits well with their playstyle. They have some of the best passives in the game. Their NP, and oh boy, it applies ignore invincibility and deals damage that ignores defense, which means that unless they have Castoria, no one can escape it. It then lowers the enemy's arts and quick resistance. This NP is just too good, and they can spam this NP like there is no tomorrow. Also, the fact that they are not limited or story locked is simply amazing. Another amazing saber that comes to mind is Saber Lancelot. Be sure to check out my review of him. Also be sure to check out my top 5 series. Do you guys agree with this list? We can discuss it in the comment section below. That's it for this video. Now like and subscribe for this shitty channel. Bye.